What's up, YouTube Money Team and True Ballers? It's your boy, the Ballin' J Money, back at you, my second and final video of the day. And in this video, I want to talk about reading. Yes, I know this is another strange topic to talk about, but there's a crazy reason why I want to talk about reading. Well, to be honest with you guys, if you guys were watching my previous video, which I hope you have, I did talk in a couple videos about uh, the richest entrepreneur in LA named Ty Lopez. Yes, the guy with the Ferraris and the crib and those advertisements that you see on YouTube. Well, I still be watching a lot of his podcasts and videos and all those stuff, and I'm learning a lot from this guy. And I haven't even purchased his program. I mean, I just learned just from watching his YouTube videos and listening to his podcasts and audio recordings and all that other stuff. And one of the key topics that he talks about that really caught me off guard, and it definitely related to my business too, especially with the new program that I'll be showing you guys in the future, that reading is a key element to being successful. And I'm gonna tell you guys this. I was one of those guys that hate reading, and when I mean hate reading, I mean like if you were in school and you had a textbook and the teacher would tell you to read a certain amount of pages for next class and then do a homework assignment on it, I honestly wouldn't even do the assignment because I didn't like reading. I honestly didn't. But a lot of the like my counselor and my teachers, they all would say that I didn't like reading because I had learning disabilities and they thought I had ADHD. Yeah, I did have learning disabilities when I was a kid, but I didn't have no ADHD. I just didn't like it. And at the time, I was never taught how to read thoroughly. So my teachers and counselor, they would help me try to build my reading skills, which was not too bad, but I'll admit that when I read a book, I sometimes forget what I'm reading. So sometimes I'll have to repeat a page or whatever else to remember what I'm reading. And nowadays, I'm taking reading a little bit more seriously because I'm building knowledge. And that's why I say that reading is very important, guys. Knowledge is one of the key elements to being successful mentally, okay? And without knowledge, it'd be difficult to execute your strategies or communicate from a professional perspective or even a how-to perspective, like if you want to learn how to fix a car engine, or how you want to become a doctor, or or even how to become a what they call a physicist, like whatever. Reading is just a great thing. I mean, especially when you're by yourself and you're not bothered by anybody. It's just you and that book. You're just reading the stories. Well, today, since I've got that out the way, I want to show you guys four books that I've been holding on to for a long while. Like a couple books I've had for about a month, and one book I've had since I was in college, and then my father sent me this fourth book about 3 months ago, and it was a pretty good story. I mean, I read part of it, and I knew about the guy because he was always on the TV commercials back home and stuff. So I'll talk about these books. First book is the one my father sent me. You probably never heard of this guy, but if you're from Lafayette, Indiana, or you grew up in Lafayette, Indiana, like myself, you would know who this guy is. It's called A Fantastic Ride, and it's a story from a guy named Bob Warman. Now, this guy, he's by far the richest car dealer in Lafayette. And this is basically his story about how he became homeless as a young man to becoming one of the richest and wealthiest guys in Lafayette and having his own car dealerships and stuff. I mean, I've been seeing this guy's face like every day when I was growing up in the years in Lafayette, and this guy, I see his car dealership. No matter where you go, you will see at least one car dealership in every part of the town. I mean, it's crazy. And I even had my first weightlifter trainer even worked for Bob Mormon because my weightlifter trainer, he was also selling cars for a living too. So, but yeah, this is a good book to read. I mean, it just talks about his story, and he talks about how he goes deep on what it took to go from a rags to riches type perspective mentally. And he had to go through a lot of stuff. I'll tell you, I thought I lived a rough life as a kid, but he lived through a worse life than I did. The next book, these next two books, I should say, I got these from my church. I don't talk too much about my church, but if you've been watching my videos, I've been saying I've been going to churches and stuff lately. But this book was one of the first books I got when I became a member of the church, and it's called "I Am a Church Member." Okay, and it's a real short book. It's only a few chapters, but all this book talks about is what it takes to be a loyal church member. I mean, this book goes deep into context on how to be loyal to not only yourself but to how to stay close to God, how to stay connected with your church family, and how you keep your church healthy. I mean, there's a lot of ways you could see this, but like I give you guys an example real quick. Like they got chapter 4. They got one part like these are all just this. You kind of consider this book as like an agreement, like agreement contract or whatever else, because you're in contract to be connected with God and your church. So with chapter 4, the chapter is called "I Will Pray for My Church Leaders." They consider that as a rule. Like it's not like I would see it as a rule because as you read this, I mean it's basically talking about what it takes to be a church member, and one of those um, rules, if you'd say, is praying for your church members. And of course, one of the biggest ones is praying for your pastors. Um, what do you gotta do to function as a church member, and then how you could treasure church membership as a gift. And I'll tell you this: when I read that 6th chapter, I definitely consider my membership as a the number one gift I've ever gotten, like the best gift I've probably ever gotten in my life. Because believe me, when my church baptized me, I didn't understand anything about this book until I got baptized. And then once I started taking this book seriously, I've been feeling more and more blessed each time I'm breathing. It's just a great book to read, a really great book. So that's another book. If you guys are into religion, that's a great book to read. And another religion book, I won this out of a drawn out of a hat type deal. It was one day at my church. We were watching a movie called The War Room. And if any of you guys know that movie, if you're a religion person, that's probably one of the best religion movies I ever read in my ever seen in my life. I don't know what I read, but after we watched that movie at the church, they had this. If your name was picked out of a hat, you win a prize. Well, blessing occurred for me. I won a prize, and the prize was another book, which is a book related to the movie. The producers and directors wrote this book. It's called The Battle Plan for Prayer. And I'll be honest, this is one book out of all 4 books I have not read yet. Because, honestly, I haven't taken this book seriously enough because I'm focusing on reading the Bible a little bit more. But I'm going to eventually get to a point where I'm going to start reading this more than my other books. But yeah, reading The Fantastic Ride with Bob Warman, I mean, I think I'm going to put that to a side for a while and start reading this book because I have been focusing a little bit more on The Fantastic Ride. It is, don't get me wrong, the Bob Warman book is a good book, but after watching the movie, I have a lot of faith that this book is just 3 times as good as the movie. So, I mean, it's just basic training and target strategies related to prayer. That's all it is. I mean, this definitely help your prayers and how to speak to God when you need to. Now, the 4th and last book I'll show, this is probably the number one book that I recommend everybody reading. Doesn't matter if you're an athlete, a business owner, or if you're just trying to be successful as a person. But this book right here changed my mindset the second I started college and the second I got this book. And I got it from my coach at Holy Cross College in Notre Dame. If any of y'all know, that's the one college I went to play ball. And he threw this book out to our players. It's called Relentless: From Good to Great to Unstoppable by Tim Grover. And if any of y'all know who Tim Grover is, he's the number one trainer that a lot of NBA players and college players and coaches go to when it comes to recoveries. I mean, if you read the back of the book, I mean, I don't even read the back. Michael Jordan says that I'm considered Tim Grover to be the second to none in his knowledge of sports training, and he is invaluable part of my training program. Michael Jordan, the greatest player of all time, saying that about a trainer. And keep in mind, he has his own program. It's I believe it's called Attack Athletes, and it's in Chicago. So he's a big deal. Kobe Bryant, another great player. He says Tim Grover is the master of mental toughness. This book is the blueprint for discovering what are capable of achieving, getting results, and you never imagine reaching the highest level of success and then going even higher. Kobe Bryant, that's what he says about Tim Grover. Like, this book is deep. It's real deep context. I'll give you another example. Mike Krzyzewski, the coach for Duke University, he says that Tim Grover's insight into leadership and excellence has taken the greats to the top, and his book will do the same for you. Relentless is about breaking the rules that hold you back and trusting your instincts to take you where you want to be. Mike Krzyzewski says that quote about Tim Grover's book, and when I read those quotes when I first saw this book, I didn't hesitate to read this book. I know I did say I didn't like reading, but at the time I was really frustrated. I was frustrated sitting on the bench. I was frustrated with grades for a while. I mean, I went from a 3.8 GPA to a 3.1, and to me that's not really good. And I needed a change. I needed an answer. Well, this book was the answer. This helped me build my mindset back up to where it used to be, and now it's even better. Because, I got all these other books, and all these other opportunities, and all this other stuff going on for me. I mean, this book is by far the best book I've ever read in my life. I mean, I'll give you guys, I think a matter of fact, I'll tell you this. I'm going to show you guys my favorite chapter. Well, I'm going to show you too. I'll just read it to you. My favorite chapter is, Tim Grover has it breaking down to, if you are a cleaner, you got to realize you got to get dirty. So, the way he states is, the cleaner you are, the dirtier you get. And each chapter is based on when you are a cleaner, and then it will go ... and then each chapter would finish with a different sentence. So, for example, when you are a trainer, chapter 3 says, you know exactly who you are. Or when you're a cleaner. When you're a cleaner, then the third chapter would say, you know exactly who you are. When I read that chapter, that was my favorite chapter. I knew by far that this was the best chapter for me, because I had to get to a point where I was like, who am I? Am I doing what I'm supposed to do? Am I being me? He goes in real deep context about it, and he expresses it with a lot of good examples. And then another example I'll give you is, when you're a cleaner, the fourth chapter says you have a dark side that refuses to be taught to be good. Now, honestly, that was the more frustrating chapter for me, because I never thought I had a dark side. And honestly, after reading that chapter, I ended up realizing that my dark side is what has developed greatness. And I think just reading that chapter, it helped me realize that even the tough guys, end quote, have gone through a path to where that's all they focus on is being tough. I mean, if you look at Mike Tyson, he's a good example of that. I mean, he had to show his toughness to get the results he wanted. Making millions of dollars, winning a lot of fights. Those of you, I know you guys don't like the election right now, but Donald Trump is another good example. I mean, he shows his toughness by talking about his point of view when it comes to women and all these stupid accusations relating to him and Hillary, and then what he's saying about Sanders, and then what's going on between him and the Speaker of the House. I mean, but you guys gotta realize it's the toughness that got him to a point where he's at now. But it's more than just the toughness, guys. It's more than having the dark side. You just don't want to have a dark side, and that's why I'm gonna tell you this. The very next chapter, when he says about the dark side, the next chapter says, when you're a cleaner, you're not intimidated by pressure. You thrive on it. So that chapter is just a continuation of the dark side chapter, basically. If you know how to control that dark side, you're not worried about pressure. So in other words, in Mike Tyson's perspective, Donald Trump's perspective, you basically are not pressured on what people say. So anybody in this world could say anything bad about Trump. They could take their signs down. They could say bad things about Tyson on social media. They could say he's the most hated fighter in all the world. But you guys got to realize, It doesn't matter what you say or what you do to them. That doesn't pressure them. They thrive on that pressure to be like, okay, I'm noticed. They notice. I'm gonna keep on going. That gives attention. That's how they make their money, guys. I mean, that's, you may not like the outcome of what I'm trying to say on this, but I'm being real with you guys here. I mean, reading these type of books that I have. I mean, matter of fact, I even have a little bookmark. I mean, this came, the coach gave us this bookmark too. It's from Kevin Garnett. I mean, he basically says it simply. There is no room for soft. By the way, his birthday, I believe it was yesterday. So happy birthday, Kevin Garnett, if you're watching this video. But but yeah, his that quote right there, that basically that's like the whole overview of this book. I mean, you can't be soft if you want to go through a really deep society that we're going through. I mean, it's, if you're soft, it will bite you in the ass. It's that simple. It will do that to you. So yeah, this is why I say reading is a really important concept in life. And if you guys don't have this book, I really recommend you get it through Amazon. You get a really good price with these books. Um, so that's all I really gotta say. If you really want to get a discount through Amazon with these books, go to my Rockstar page. You scroll down to the bottom of the page, and you'll see a tab that says Amazon Associate. You go to that link, and then you go to the book category, and you'll find these books, and you'll see what discounts you get out of those. So, and there's a bunch of other products you get a good discount to with that website too. So, yeah, look into my Rockstar page. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Like, comment this. Do what you gotta do, fellas, ladies, girls, boys, whoever you are. And hope everybody has a blessed weekend. I'm going to go on about my day. Get this meeting taken care of later on this afternoon. Eat my lunch and then go work out. So I hope everybody has a blessed weekend. Take care. And I'll talk to you guys soon. Ball J Money's out.